Welcome everyone to the 10th Halls of Injustice. Well, brackets in end brackets. Justice. Today we're not going to be discussing a person. How strange. Before that, there's a new video on Moisty Live. I'll be streaming on that channel at 9:30pm GMT, but I'll also be streaming on Twitch at 8pm GMT. Link to everything mentioned down below. So now you might be wondering, Omegon, this is the halls of brackets in end brackets justice. Surely you'd want a person. Well, there are people I do want to discuss. I really do. However, injustice can take on things being implemented or potentially being implemented by certain governments. Let's say, for example, and for this video, we're going to use the Scottish. Real role models right here, everyone. Courtesy of the Daily Record, I found something that, to me, was quite amusing. And so we're going to discuss that. The Scottish Sentencing Council has launched a 12-week public consultation asking for opinions on appropriate sentencing. Now, I am quite upset by this because I checked my mail this morning and I've checked it all week. I didn't get invited. F in the chat for me. What with the sentences are they trying to get more information about? And I should be an expert on this. I am, after all, the law. Well, it turns out that people under the age of 25, according to new guidelines, should not be sent to jail because of their emotional brains, with courts potentially being urged to avoid sending young offenders to jail because they are immature. This comes because the Scottish Sentencing Council launched a 12-week public consultation on the appropriate sentencing. I can make a few suggestions, but all of them seem to centre around spam fritters and deep-fried Mars bars, but taking them out of the fryer with your hand. Depending on the level of the crime will depend on how far your hand has to go in the chip fat. I'm joking, of course, please don't demonetize me. The guideline sets out that courts must take account of a young person's maturity when assessing their blameworthiness for a crime. Understandably, we need to assess this based on the type of crime committed in the first place and whether or not mental maturity should play any factor at all. The answer is yes, it should to an extent, but guilt is guilt. ISO cubes need filling, and I really want to give them their ISO cube rations. Research by the University of Edinburgh, commissioned by the Scottish Sentencing Council, uncovered that brain development continues until approximately 25 to 30 years of age. You're a bit late on this because, forgive me if I'm wrong, but this is common knowledge, and you've only just worked this out? You get free tuition. This is tragic. The research also found that imbalances in brain development explain the risk-taking, emotionally driven behavior commonly attributed to young people and which may include illegal activity. Did we pay for this? Because I'm starting to think that perhaps we need to revoke their funding. The guideline could also change the fate of up to 17,000 perps who are sentenced in Scotland every year. They're the ones typically caught creeping around a window of a hairdresser's, running through the streets with a potato peeler, walking their gimp partner like a dog, and of course the most heinous of all, eating a vegetable in public. Now of course these guidelines and this research does concede that in extreme circumstances, perps that commit very naughty crimes will get custodial sentences, which is great. There are many, and understandably many, that believe reform needs to happen within the criminal justice system, and of course those who are sentenced to prison for what is being dubbed a light crime, along with that of rehabilitation for quite a lot of crimes committed. Most, in fact, is the argument, if not all, but the single most extreme types. In the United Kingdom, there is a current reform going on and through Parliament that will revoke, in the most extreme cases, the recent attacks in London after being released from prison because they served half their sentence being the template to then revoke the original policy brought into play by the Labour Party under Tony Blair's premiership. So there is an argument to certainly offer another option to teach these people and show them a better life. I call it a last chance. There will still and always be people that believe in constantly trying to rehabilitate others. I believe you get one shot. You are to me, the moment you agree to rehabilitation for your lesser crime, you are a last chancer. You are Lieutenant Cage. You get it, you do it, you get out. You screw up, you're back in, and you don't get a chance. You serve your time, and then you're out. But I'm a judge, so what do I know? And I'm far more aggressive. The Scottish Sentencing Council hopes and expects that it will bring long-term social and economic benefits, and by promoting reduced reoffending through greater emphasis on rehab and increased use of the children's hearing system. Lord Turnbull, who is a senator member of the Scottish Sentencing Council, has said that the sentencing of young people is a complex and challenging exercise which requires a more individualistic approach, with a need to take the unique personal circumstances of the young person into account. This guideline aims to increase public knowledge and confidence by explaining the process of sentencing a young person. Just gonna say, over the near 5 years I've been on this platform, and the many justice and injustice videos I've made, certainly when I started, what I noticed was prevalent is that kind of view was never used on young people. Lord Turnbull's statement, if you replace young people with women, was exactly how I always thought they were treating women, because they always managed to find an underlying mental issue in nearly every single case, which I found to be truly astonishing, because people were getting more severe sentences that were typically male because we had to set an example. That's not why you did it. You did it because they're men, and because men are supposed to know better, apparently, which I find to be truly ridiculous. As far as I'm concerned, it's taken Scotland a while longer than it should have to finally get to a point where others have already been like, we've been doing this for a while, we kind of already do this, what are you doing? Why have you taken so long? This is actually embarrassing but also amusing. With this though, I want to know what you think. When it comes to young people, what's the turn point? What's that breaking point? Where's the straw that breaks the camel's back? What do you think they should do? And this obviously is context-based. There are going to be a plethora of crimes. Which ones should be custodial and which ones should be rehabilitation? This is a debate worth having. And as this is a part of a devolved administration issue, this will only impact Scotland, by the way. The UK government would have to legislate for England. Of course, then only English MPs would vote on such an issue. So please do let me know in the comments down below. Now, if I don't see you tonight over on Twitch or on Moisky Live for the political recap, I hope you all have a fantastic Friday and subsequent weekend. And thank you all for listening.